Hi, this is Tara Nair with Yarn Therapy, and today we're going to go over how to do the Longtail thumb cast on. This is a little different than the Longtail stretchy cast on. I have tutorials for both. This is great for beginners when you're just learning to do it, so we're going to get into that. So the first thing that you need to do is to determine how much yarn do you need for your tail. I recommend and have found that it's easiest to measure out how long you want your tie-in yarn at the end of your project to be. So I usually do in between 5 and 6 inches, and then I start from there, and then I take my knitting needle and I wrap my yarn around my needle for however many stitches that I might need. So let's say the pattern calls for 12 stitches. I'm going to wrap it 12 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then I let that fall off. I then give myself about 1.5 inches for my slip knot. Doing a slip knot, you take your tail yarn over the top of the yarn going back to the ball. Take the tail part and bring it behind that circle you just made. I usually will hold it there with my fingers, my thumb and my index finger. Then I take these 2 fingers and I grab that yarn and pull it through that loop and then pull it tight. And now you have a slip knot. When you put this on your needle, you want to make sure that the tail is facing towards you and that the ball of yarn is facing away from you. And then you just tighten it up onto your needle just like this. Make sure it doesn't get too tight because you still need to be able to put your needles in there when you start knitting. And I usually do hold on to it with my fingers or my index finger to keep it from sliding off. The next thing you're going to do is I take the working ball of yarn and I hold it with my right hand along with my knitting needle, just like this. And then I'm going to take the tail part and I am going to grab it with my 2 bottom fingers and my palm, just like this, so it's nice and tight coming off of the knitting needle. Again, don't forget to put your little finger there so it doesn't slide off. And then I am going to take my thumb and I am going to go over the top of that yarn and flick my wrist back up towards your body. So come back to you. So take your thumb, put it over the top, and then take your thumb like you're going to point your thumb back at your body just like this, and then back up like doing a thumbs up. So now that you have the yarn is now wrapped around your thumb. You're going to take this knitting needle and you're going to go at the base of your thumb and slide it up your thumb and grab that yarn so it's now sitting on your knitting needle. I actually pinch my knitting needle and keep the yarn on my thumb just like this. And I take that yarn that is going to your working yarn and you're going to wrap it around going from back to front. So around counterclockwise the knitting needle. And then you take your thumb again over the top of your needle and bring that needle through that loop that's on your thumb, and then you let go. And then you pull that yarn that's going to your tail tight with your thumb towards, I always do bring it to me, towards me, but just as long as you pull it tight, okay? And now you have 2 stitches on your knitting needle. So we're gonna do that again. The nice thing, when you pull it back like that, you're now actually ready to do the next one. If you were to drop it, not a big deal. You're just, again, gonna grab that yarn and then you're going to flick your thumb over the top back towards you and then back up like saying thumbs up. You take your knitting needle, go under, slide it up through your thumb just like this. I grab my needle with my 2 fingers and take that working yarn from the ball and I wrap it counterclockwise around that knitting needle. Take my thumb back up with that yarn on it over the top of my needle, and I let go of the yarn, the loop, and then I take my thumb and pull tight from the tail. So now I have 3 stitches on there. And we're going to do it one more time. Under the thumb, hold on to your needle, take that working yarn around the needle counterclockwise, take the yarn that's on your thumb, the loop, and take it over the top of the needle and let it go, and then pull tight on the tail yarn, and you are set to go. We'll do one more. Under, pinch, around, hold your needle, over the top with your thumb, let go of the yarn, pull it tight, and that is how you do the long tail thumb cast on, and you're set to go.